We are continuing to follow some breaking news this morning. President Biden making a surprise visit to the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv ahead of the one-year anniversary of Russia's invasion, which will happen on Friday.
Joining us now in studio is former Chief of Staff of the National Security Council, Fred Fleitz. Fred, thanks for joining us this morning. So just want to get your initial reaction to this surprise visit.
Well, it was a gutsy move by President Biden. It certainly is going to be an enormous boost to the morale of the people of Ukraine. But I hate to rain on his parade, but I think this is an extremely irresponsible thing for an American president to do, to go to a war zone where there are no American troops, to an area where there are not U.S. strategic interests. I think if Biden was to meet the president of Ukraine, it should have been in another country. The amount of money, the risks we took to get him in there, he had opportunities to do this before. He didn't do it for security reasons. I have to worry that this was a PR stunt because the president's poll ratings are down so far because of other mistakes he made. I hate to say that. I'm hoping some good will come out of this and that he will say to the Ukrainian government, we have to find a way out of this war. We have to start negotiations. But at the end of the day, this is not something I would have recommended a U.S. president to do.
The war will formally mark a year, February the 24th, which is Friday. Our CEO, Chris Ruddy, broke this news early this morning, right around 3 a.m. Eastern, that President Biden was going to be going to Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. How does Russia respond?
Russia will be pretty upset that the U.S. seems to be doubling down in its support, but this doesn't address concerns we're seeing in Congress among Republicans, that they don't know what the American strategy is. The American strategy seems to be we're in as long as it takes. Most Republicans are not going to stand with that position indefinitely. I think that the Ukrainians have a window to push back a new Russian offensive, score major wins. And I support continuing that support, but not indefinitely, and I hope that's addressed in this visit.
Fred, the president saying that he's going to give $500 million in assistance, including military equipment, artillery, ammunition, more javelins. I want you to take a listen to what Senator Lindsey Graham had to say about F-16s, because we keep hearing that. Mm-hmm.
There's bipartisan support for winning this war in Ukraine, for giving the Ukrainians the weapons they need to defend themselves. I'm not worried about provoking Putin. I want to beat him. And how do you beat him? You beat him by giving the Ukrainians the military capability to drive the Russians out of Ukraine.
Fred, what do you think about that?
I think providing these fighters would be a bridge too far. I'm also worried that we're supporting a Ukrainian plan to expand the war into Crimea. There's a red line somewhere where we could push the Russians to take steps we don't want to take, maybe test a nuclear weapon as a demonstration. We don't seem to be giving any thought to that.
I thought tanks were going to be a red line.
That's right, yeah.
Not the case. We are now providing tanks, so is Germany. Our F-16s, should there be a red line there with fighter jets flying over Ukraine? American fighter jets.
Well, I mean, where will it end? Will we give Ukraine even longer range missiles? You know, there were Ukrainians saying over the weekend, our tanks are going to Red Square in Moscow. Now, that's an exaggeration. That is not the message we should be giving to the Russians.
Fred, we've got about 30 seconds left. Did you think the war would last this long?
I did not. First of all, I didn't think the Ukrainians could hold out this long. I'm very happy that they did. I hope that they can win. I think we're looking at a stalemate. Russia won't be completely pushed out of the country, but we're also looking at a conflict that the U.S. is not going to be supporting indefinitely. We have to find a way to stop the killing and to wrap this up.
All right, Fred Fleitz, thanks for being with us. We'll pick this conversation up again next hour. Thank you.